Sometimes life throws people into your world at the exact moment you need them the most. And sometimes, those moments don't look magical at first. They look messy, confusing, maybe even embarrassing. But hidden inside them is a kind of kindness that changes everything. This is the story of a single dad who woke up one morning to find the powerful CEO of a major company standing in his tiny kitchen, wearing his shirt. And what she said next didn't just freeze him, it changed the direction of his entire life. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support our channel, your channel name. Your engagement truly helps us bring more inspiring stories your way. Jacob Turner was the kind of man who lived his life in quiet routines. Every morning started the same: wake up at 5:30, pack lunch for his 8-year-old daughter Lily, and rush off to his job at a large corporate office where he worked as a night shift cleaner. He didn't complain. Hard work didn't scare him. But raising a child alone after losing his wife to an unexpected illness had left parts of him tired in ways he never talked about. He kept going because Lily was his whole world, his reason to smile, his reason to push through exhaustion, his reason to keep believing that better days might still come. One rainy night, while cleaning the 27th floor offices, Jacob found someone still working long past midnight. A woman sat alone behind a glass wall, her shoulders tense, papers scattered everywhere. She looked exhausted, emotionally drained, the kind of tired that doesn't come from lack of sleep but from carrying the weight of too much responsibility. "Sorry," Jacob whispered when she noticed him. "Didn't mean to interrupt." She offered a small, grateful smile. "You're not interrupting. I'm just trying to survive this week." Jacob had no idea she was the CEO. To him, she was just a tired human being who clearly needed someone to acknowledge she existed. So he simply nodded and said, "Rough day?" Something about his voice, gentle, genuine, free of judgment, made her actually open up. "You could say that," she replied. "I just had to fire someone I wish I could have helped. The board wants numbers, not stories." Her name was Evelyn Hart, and despite sitting in a corner office with sweeping city views, she felt incredibly alone. For the next few minutes, Jacob listened. Not as an employee. Not as someone intimidated by her title. Just as a human being offering quiet company in a world where everyone expected something from her. When he finally returned to cleaning, she said softly, "Thanks. I really needed someone to hear me." And that could have been the end. A simple moment between two strangers. But life had different plans. 2 weeks later, a brutal winter storm hit the city. Schools closed early, buses stalled, and roads iced over. Jacob panicked when he got the call. He was on shift, and Lily was stuck at school. Traffic was frozen. Taxis weren't running. Walking home in the storm wasn't possible. He tried everything, but nothing worked. Then, out of nowhere, the door of the supply closet swung open and Evelyn appeared, bundled in a thick coat. "Jacob? You okay?" He explained everything in a rush: Lily, the storm, his fear of being too far to get to her. Evelyn didn't hesitate. "Give me the address. I'll go get her." He blinked. I can't ask you to do that." "You're not asking," she said firmly. "I'm offering." 45 minutes later, through wind, ice, and nearly empty streets, she reached the school. When she walked through the doors and asked for Lily, the little girl stared up at her with wide brown eyes. "Your daddy's boss?" Evelyn smiled. "Not tonight. Tonight I'm just someone who cares." She wrapped Lily in her scarf and guided her carefully to her car. The drive back took almost 2 hours, but Evelyn kept the little girl laughing the entire time, stories about childhood, silly jokes, anything to make her forget the storm raging outside. By the time they reached Jacob's small apartment, it was past midnight. The storm hadn't slowed, it had gotten worse. When Evelyn tried to leave, the wind nearly knocked her off her feet. "No way," Jacob said firmly. "You're not driving in that. Please, stay until the storm calms." She hesitated for half a second, then nodded. What none of them knew was that the storm would trap them there until morning. That night, while Lily slept on the couch under her favorite blanket, Jacob and Evelyn stayed up talking in the dimly lit kitchen. He brewed chamomile tea, apologizing for the small space, the mismatched mugs, the flickering light above the sink. But Evelyn didn't mind. In fact, she felt strangely at peace. She found herself staring at the family photos on the wall, shots of Lily's missing teeth smile, a picture of Jacob holding her as a baby, a photograph of a woman with gentle eyes. Jacob's late wife. She was beautiful, Evelyn said softly. She was everything, Jacob whispered. But life had other plans. They talked for hours. Not about work. Not about titles. Just feelings, fears, memories, and kindness. As the night grew colder, Jacob noticed Evelyn shivering. Her clothes were still damp from the storm. Hold on, he said. Let me grab something. He searched through a drawer until he found an old flannel shirt, warm, soft, comfortable. He handed it to her. It's clean, he said quickly. And warm. You can change in the bathroom. Evelyn smiled in a way Jacob had never seen before, unguarded, thankful. When she returned wearing his shirt, sleeves rolled up, hair still damp, Jacob felt his heartbeat skip in a way he hadn't felt in years. But he said nothing. He didn't know if he should. Eventually, exhaustion pulled them to sleep, Jacob in the old armchair, Evelyn curled up on the recliner. Morning came quietly. Jacob opened his eyes to the smell of coffee. He blinked, confused, until he saw her standing in the kitchen, barefoot on the cold floor, still wearing his shirt as she poured coffee into 2 mugs. The early light made the moment look almost unreal. Oh, good morning, Evelyn said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. I hope you don't mind. I made some coffee. Jacob stood frozen. This woman, a CEO worth millions, a woman who commanded entire boardrooms, was standing in his tiny kitchen like she belonged there. I don't know what to say, he managed. Evelyn took a slow breath and met his eyes. Say that you'll let me help you, she said. He frowned, confused. Help me with what? With everything you've been carrying alone. Her voice was gentle but steady, the kind of voice that didn't make offers it couldn't keep. You work all night, she continued. You raise a daughter with more love than some people will ever know. You show kindness even when life hasn't been kind to you. Jacob, no one should have to do all of this alone. He swallowed hard. I'm not sure I understand. Evelyn stepped a little closer. When I drove through that storm last night, I realized something. Power and money don't mean anything if you don't use them to help the people who actually deserve it. She reached into her bag and placed a neatly folded piece of paper on the table. I want to give you a better position at the company, she said. A stable one. Day hours. Better pay. Health benefits for Lily. You've earned it in ways you don't even realize. Jacob stared at the paper as his vision blurred with tears he refused to let fall. Why would you do all this for me? Evelyn smiled softly. Because kindness shouldn't just be a moment. It should change someone's life. Jacob didn't know what to say. His throat tightened, his chest felt heavy, and for the first time in years, he let himself cry. Not out of sadness, but out of relief. Lily walked into the kitchen rubbing her eyes. When she saw Evelyn there, still in her dad's shirt, she grinned sleepily. Are you staying for breakfast? Evelyn looked at Jacob, waiting for his answer. And he nodded. Yeah, he whispered. She's staying. That morning, over pancakes and laughter, something new began, not romance, not yet, but a connection built on genuine human kindness. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Their lives slowly intertwined, school pickups, shared dinners, conversations that grew deeper, easier, more honest. Evelyn didn't try to replace Jacob's past. She simply became part of his present. And in return, Jacob reminded her what it meant to be human in a world of numbers, deadlines, and constant pressure. He reminded her that kindness wasn't weakness, it was strength. 1 year later, on the anniversary of that storm, Jacob stood outside the same office building where he had once cleaned late-night floors. But this time, he walked through the doors not as a janitor, but as the head of the company's new employee wellness program, an idea Evelyn created just for him.